Argentina's renewed claims over the Falkland Islands, especially in the light of the recent Chagos Islands transfer, demands a keen look at historical and contemporary realities, the politics of the area. And the Falkland Islands is quite distinct. There was no indigenous population when Britain established its settlement in 1833, displacing only Argentine garrison forces who had briefly occupied it. In contrast, the Chagos Islands saga involved the forced relocation of Chagosian people by the British government in the 1960s and 70s to maintain strategic control of the Indian Ocean. This distinction is critical to understanding why the Chagos transfer to Mauritius sets no binding precedent for other British territories. Argentina's argument is based on claims dating back to 1816, when it declared independence from Spain, inheriting unresolved colonial claims, including the Falklands. However, the Argentina of 1816 was not at all as expansive a nation as it is today. The region had just fragmented from the viceroyalty of the Rio de la Plata, and the territories now comprising Argentina, Bolivia, Paraguay, and Uruguay were embroiled in civil wars themselves over boundaries and autonomy. By the mid-19th century, Argentina had expanded drastically through the conquest of the desert campaigns of the 1870s and 1880s, displacing and massacring indigenous tribes across Patagonia, a campaign regarded by many historians as genocidal. Thus, while Argentina asserts its post-colonial legitimacy over the Falklands, its own history is marred by colonial-like expansion, with native populations dispossessed in favor of unified national identity. And President Javier Milei's recent stance, which frames the Chagos Islands decision as a viable model for the Falklands, reflects a symbolic hope that Argentina may pursue against Britain a claim over Britain's overseas territories to be ceded to nearby states. Milei states, with what the previous government were doing, the Falklands were never going to be Argentine again. By this mechanism, by the Chagos Islands mechanism, we believe that in the long term the islands will become Argentine again. The point is, even if they were Argentine at all, it was for an incredibly short space of time, and no one lived there. Yet Britain has continually asserted the Falkland Islanders' right to self-determination, as reflected in the 2013 referendum, where nearly 100% voted to remain a British overseas territory. British officials have dismissed parallels to Chagos, emphasising that each territory has a unique historical and legal status, and the Prime Minister's spokesperson recently said the sovereignty of the Falkland Islands is not up for negotiation. This underscores the UK's stance on territorial integrity and commitment to the self-determined wishes of the Falklanders, who have deep-rooted British heritage. In essence, comparing the Falklands with the Chagos Islands is, as critics argue, ultimately flawed. The sovereignty of these islands remains a matter for self-determination, a principle upheld under international law. And the contrast between Argentina's colonial past and its claims of post-colonial reparation over the Falklands reveals the complexities of modern territorial claims, where historical legitimacy, indigenous rights, and national interests intersect.